Hi and welcome to Heathrow Terminal 3, where today I'm going to be trying out Qantas's newly refurbished A380 business class cabin. That features the new lounge on board, so it's going to be interesting to see how it compares to my flight from 10 years ago. Follow me as I experience the product in all its glory. So let me start the journey in Terminal 3, which is host to a range of large international carriers. Qantas uses the check-in area B, which isn't really anything to write home about, and there's no special first-class wing or dedicated area, but there are special desks for business and first-class passengers, although we did have to ask where, as they were tucked away. After a super speedy check-in, it was time to whisk ourselves upstairs to enter the dreaded fast track. Yet again, it took about 15 to 20 minutes to get through, as Heathrow keep messing around with the rotation of the staff each time we go through. It might just be our luck of the draw though. As soon as we headed through the duty-free, it was time to go to Qantas's dedicated lounge. It's fairly big and split across 2 floors. Up the grand staircase is the main lounge area, with horseshoe bar and a wide range of seating. It's not the brightest lounge though, with a lack of windows, so we opted to stay downstairs to enjoy their a la carte restaurant. After a glass of sparkling Australian wine, it was time to taste Qantas's famous salt and pepper squid, a more refreshing zucchini and mushroom salad with poached egg, and some roasted pork. If that wasn't enough, there's also a limited buffet counter too. But what Qantas prides itself on is its gin bar that has a wide range of delicious serves. Now, as Qantas is part of Oneworld, we opted to pop next door to Cathay's Lounge, which features better views and swathes more light, and an impressive cocktail bar. It is great to be able to pick and mix the lounges in Heathrow if you are travelling on Oneworld. Before too long, we had to head to Gate 1, where we caught a glimpse of the A380 that was going to take us all the way to Singapore. It was actually our first A380 flight post-pandemic, and great to see these beautiful beasts still flying. At one point, it was possibly going to become an endangered animal in the skies. Boarding was on time, and we headed up the ramp to the top deck, where we entered the huge, brand new business class cabin. So while the previous incarnation of the A380 featured 64 Mark Newson skybeds, the new configuration actually features 6 more seats, but that doesn't mean things are more cramped. There is actually a larger sense of space and privacy thanks to the heavily customised Thomson Vantage XL staggered seats. The cabin feels calming, and the use of deep greys and wooden veneers creates a really homely feel. It's great to see the same product as well across the entire fleet. My seat, 26E, was part of a centre pair. Unlike other airlines, Qantas hasn't created those honeymoon pairs, instead opting for solo privacy for every single seat. That means there's not really a best or worst seat to choose from. The only question really is if you want to be near the aisle or away from the aisle, and that's a question of wanting the sense of more space or more privacy. Being at the back of the cabin, however, does mean there's less foot traffic, but it does take a little longer to get served, not that that's an issue on such a long flight. The seat is kitted out with an intuitive seat control panel, mood lighting, and an open storage unit which houses the headphones. On the centre pairs, there's also a privacy divider which does offer privacy if travelling alone. There are charging points, although there is no USB-C on these seats. There's also a handy vanity mirror in the armrest which houses the seat controller, not that there's really a need for it. Seat storage does vary depending on the seat that you pick, but there's always a small footwell storage unit for shoes beside the seat. When it comes to entertainment, there's a big high-def TV screen packed to the gills with TV shows and recent movie releases, paired with decent noise-cancelling headsets. The amenity kits reference the nostalgia of Qantas's 100-year past, and they're packed with the usual amenities we come to expect, with the added bonus of Litia botanical potions and lotions. Let's not forget the awesome PJs that are given to every passenger, and the bedding, including this sumptuous David Kayon mattress topper made from recycled plastic bottles. So as everyone settles into their seats, pre-departure champagne is served, while passengers are encouraged to fill out the breakfast menus which are collected prior to takeoff. It's also great to see the safety video celebrating Qantas's long history, although it does baffle me whether I'm meant to look at the video or the safety demo by the cabin crew. Before long, we have pushed back, headed along the runway and taken off into the skies. Sadly, the tail cam wasn't working for the takeoff roll. But now that we're airborne, let's take a look at the main menu. Unlike other airlines, Qantas really opts for clean, healthy food choices, and the menu really reflects that. Now, with there being 70 passengers in total, it did take some time for crew to come down the aisle to serve dinner. I find it interesting that on such a long flight there's no aperitif service, especially as they took the time to come down and take your food order. That said, there's nothing bad to be said about the crew. They really do go above and beyond to make you feel at home. When it came to the meal service, we were immediately served with a green salad and a choice of breads. Interestingly, this is considered the starter. That's our only real negative on an otherwise great flight. I mean, just look at the passion these crew have for service, it really shines. Now, I opted for the seared cod, which was beautifully presented bistro style, albeit I felt the portions a little on the smaller side, but the flavours were superb. The beef dish also packed a punch on the flavour scale. After the main meal service, I opted for the cheese plate, which was then paired with a beautiful sweet dessert wine. It was at this point I realised that my cabin crew was also a sommelier, and he took great pleasure in giving me a tasting of all of the wines, including a port to go with the dessert. Now being close to midnight, it was time to get some shut-eye, and the crew turned down my seat into a bed ready for some sleep. About 6 hours left to run, I woke up and headed to the new lounge at the front of the plane, which was totally empty. It is sad to see such a great space underutilised, and I can only presume it's because there's no real focal point, such as Emirates' fully tendered bar. That said, it's the perfect place to relax and unwind with someone during a long flight, and the redesign certainly makes it a more compelling place to spend your time. There's a pseudo self-service approach here thanks to a help-yourself bar unit. If you do want something different, however, everywhere around the seating are call bells allowing you to get a cabin crew member to come and serve you if need be. I opted to press one of them, and a crew immediately took my order for a midnight snack, a grilled cheese toastie which hit the spot before heading back to the seat. Managing a couple of hours extra shut-eye, I was then woken by a fresh espresso and chilled orange juice, before being served a hearty, fresh breakfast. I always think it's a great success when a long flight like this passes in an instant. It's the sign of a comfortable sleep, good food, and great entertainment. Luckily, the tail cam was working when I woke up, so I could see this giant beast descend into Singapore, where I would get off, while other passengers would get a couple of hours rest before heading on to Sydney. So all in all, what did I think? From a design standpoint, I really like what Qantas have done with their new interiors. There's a residential vibe across the entire passenger experience, and the connection between ground product and aircraft is a masterclass in branded experiences. The new onboard lounge is a great upgrade, and sadly it's just underutilized. But the seat, bed, food and crew are what make this product a winning success. As always, thank you so much for following me, and until next time, safe flying.